Kevin Durant recently was on Bill Simmons' podcast, and it was kind of a leading question, but Bill Simmons asked him, what is Tatum's ceiling? Is he an MVP? And Durant said, yeah, he's got the talent to do that. But then Durant pointed out that his circumstances were very different. When Durant came into the league, he played on a crappy Seattle team that won like 20 games, and he got to take as many shots as he wanted. So he took, like, his rookie season, he took 18 shots per game, and he had to get through those reps, right? So he shot 43% from the field that season, and he shot 29% from three. But because Durant had the system where he could just kind of experiment with no pressure on him and no real expectations, I feel like that first season was pivotal and the player he became, because the next season he was so much more prepared. And part of me sometimes wonders, with like a guy like Tatum, would he be best served to reach his potential if he's playing on a team like, Donovan Mitchell right now is taking 19 shots per game. He's shooting terribly. He's shooting 40% from the field, 29%. But is Donovan Mitchell going to end up being better for that, as opposed to Tatum, who has to kind of fit into this role?
No, I think it's just a different caliber of player. I'm not really a Mitchell fan. I see a lot of Steve Francis in him. Bad shot taker. His defense this year has fallen off a little too. Last year, I remember he was playing really good defense. I don't know. This year, he's kind of taken a step back. As far as Durant goes, it's a different level of talent, though. Look at Luka. Luka, you could pretty much plug him in anywhere, and he's going to excel. Tatum, I think, is fine in the system. Think about it. He might develop bad habits. He goes to a bad team and he's jacking up shots, and then he develops a lot of bad habits. But I think this is a good way for him to get his shots, play competitive, meaningful games, and learn from like the veterans we have.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that the Celtics are balancing right now. So I think that last season Tatum just came in. He didn't want to step on any toes, so he basically just would take open shots. He wasn't really trying to create for himself. Almost to a fault, felt like at some points that he was one of our most talented players and really should have attacked the basket and tried to get his own shot. And this season, some people are getting upset about the long twos that he takes, and they get upset about the contested shots he takes. Mm-hmm. I personally love that. I love seeing him do that. Like last night, he missed a couple of them. He didn't shoot very efficiently, but I love seeing him do that because he needs those reps. If he's ever going to be a go-to scorer that's capable of carrying a team offensively, he can't just be this cog in the system. He needs to have opportunities. That's something that's probably difficult for the Celtics to balance right now, and I think that it is a little bit of experimentation, but I personally like to see it. Like, what do you think when you see him jack up a contested fadeaway? I mean, to me, I kind of like it. What are your thoughts on it?
I like it if it's at the end of the shot clock because he can make it, but I hate these early contested shots he takes up. I like him being aggressive. Obviously, everybody does. But I want him to make that extra pass when it's there. A lot of times, I can't remember him dishing off to an open teammate when the D collapses. I don't know. I can't really think of it. I know I'm sure he has. I just can't think of it.
I really think they are trying to model him after a guy like Kevin Durant or Dirk Nowitzki. I think the reason they're trying to do that is because there's not a lot of players in the NBA who are able to shoot as well as he is, handle as well as he is, and have like this incredible arsenal of offensive moves that kind of made Dirk and Durant unique in that they had the height to shoot over basically anyone. And I think Tatum's length kind of puts him in that theoretical mold. So, a lot of people have gotten upset about him taking the long twos. I'm looking at his percentage of shots by distance right now, and it looks like 18% of Tatum's shots come in the 16 feet to 3-point range. I guess that would be the long two range. And just like looking at it earlier, Kevin Durant, 19% of his shots are taken in that range. So that's totally in the mold of Durant. And actually, Durant's career, he's taken 21% of his shots in that kind of long two range. And with Dirk, it was even more. It was like 31% of Dirk's shots were long twos. So I don't necessarily mind as much when I see him take those long twos. And I just think it's part of his development,
Well, I think another part of his development is going to be his body. I think he's a little bit bigger this year, but he's going to continue to physically mature. I mean, last year, if you remember, he was constantly getting stripped going to the basket. This year, I'm not seeing it as much, and hopefully, like as the years progress, it becomes even less and less. And he's able to use his physicality, talent, and length to score.